can hide from the unknown.
Hello everybody and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to my latest episode of New Album Spotlight, the show where I put the spotlight on a new album in progressive rock or related genres, one that I think is worth checking out, that I love, and I describe the album and give you guys an impression of what to expect, and it's your choice if you want to go out and explore the music. I would really encourage it if you like the same type of music I do. And today I have a really fantastic one to talk about. This is Einar Solberg's album 16. Einar Solberg is the lead vocalist of the band Leprous, which is a very notable prog metal band that have had quite a storied, good history coming into the 2000s. Their last two records have taken a bit more of a lighter turn. I don't know if lighter is the right word, but they've gone away from the more extreme metal sides to their sound, but still with a lot of emotional weight and heft and really having a darker, moodier type vibe and style to them, done without as much of that heavier metal element that they were known for earlier. These records are Aphelion and Pitfalls, which I actually really liked and thought were really expertly crafted and showcased really great emotion and really great storytelling. And I thought Einar Solberg was really driving a lot of that through his vocals, because he's just a real expressive vocalist. He has this vocal range that really is unparalleled in the genre. He's just really fantastic. He can go into these really beautiful highs and these falsettos, but then really expressive lows and really have this full range to play within. And he just brings all of that emotional heft and weight to everything that he's a part of. It's really impressive how he's able to do that, and I think he's able to stretch out his wings even more with this solo project, which really allows him the ability to just go for it creatively and do some really fascinating things with the music. So a lot of that heavy metal side to the sound is really put away to really focus on a more minimal type sound, but built with a lot of orchestration and swelling strings, and really gives this haunting, beautiful effect. There's a bit of a classical style feel to it, but it all stays in this very haunting, dark place, which is really what he's going for, it seems, with the theme and the feel of the album, because he's talking about his experience with mental health issues, anxiety, depression. It seems like he's explaining it as this album documenting the time when he lost his innocence and started realizing that life is serious and bad things can happen. A lot of drastic things happened within these 3 years that he's detailing through this record. Some career-defining moments, really important to him and really emotionally resonant, and I think that's felt throughout the vocal performances, throughout the instrumental performances, and it's just a really beautiful record, really a great artistic expression that I just absolutely love. And he's able to add a lot of cinematic feel, like I said, with those strings and orchestration and some horns and some other things in the backing, but he's also able to add a little bit of modern touches, like a little electronica elements, and adds almost, there's even a song with a bit of a rap section in it that really adds a more current feel that makes this album feel more fresh and up to date, rather than just celebrating its past heroes like a lot of progressive rock tends to do. So I think that really adds to the experience and makes this a more relevant, current, fresh album than a lot of other ones that I probably cover a lot on this channel. But it's a really great record. There's a lot of tracks here. There's 11 tracks that are each independent and individual in their own ways, but all are cohesive and build to this same theme that he's portraying with this darkness and sadness and anxiety in this period of his life of really fraught times. The first track is the title track 16, features Raphael Wainwroth Brown on cello. You start with this cello and crackling fire before we get Einar's expressive vocals. Very minimal with lots of emotion. Basically it's just vocal, cello, and some gentle bass strumming, but it gets a lot more intense in the second half with some added drums and keys. And it's just really beautifully done, beautifully haunting, with that cello at the end with some delicate plucked strings in the background. This really gives you the sound palette that you can expect. Remember Me is a really great track, starting with electronic sounding drum beat, add vocals, some light keys. There's some great layered vocals that he's doing here, a bit haunting with these vocal theatrics that Einar's able to accomplish Some addition of real drums really adds another great layer. This almost jazzy drumming style, adding a bit of groove to the track. The part where the beat drops out and leaves some orchestration is beautiful. There's even some horns that you can hear in the background. An intense build up towards the end adds another layer to this beautiful track. An early highlight of the record for me, which leads into A Beautiful Life, which is beginning with some 80s synth and almost a poppier feel to this. Great, beautiful harmonies and falsetto, and another powerful moment when the beat drops in to really give some power and heft to this piece as well. Where All the Twigs Broke, featuring Star of Ash, is the next track. Haunting piano melody opens this one with light electronic beats. Einar's vocals fit the mood perfectly. Love the more classical feel in the piano and some added layers of strings, some really cool interplay before we get the beat drop. Really feels cinematic in scope, a beautiful combination of sounds. Metacognitive, again, features Raphael Winruff Brown on that cello. We get some weird electronic sounds, some backward loops and things. Very understated with some strings and vocals. Cello is another beautiful addition. Amazing instrument. I love cello. It's one of my favorite instruments, and it adds so much on these tracks. Some really tasteful bass in the background creates some really great sound palette. Beats get more intense, some great expressive vocals. It's just a really cool track leading into Home, which features Ben Levin. We get some a cappella vocals before bass and an added beat and some horns. It's almost like a funky bit of avant pop here that adds a different flavor to the genre and to this record. And we get that aforementioned rap section that adds another facet to the sound. I know a lot of people who probably view this channel aren't really fans of rap, but I think it's tastefully done here, and it's just in this one section, so it's not throughout the record, but it's really adds a left turn and an interesting moment for the record, and like I said, brings an added freshness and newer feel to the record. Blue Light follows, featuring Asger Meigand, who does some lower vocals, that I think really add another layer to the sound, some low keyboard notes as well, with Einar's harmonies up more towards the top. Really great feel. Great soulful style, low bass and skittering subdued electronics, allowing these soulful vocals to really shine and give an eerie feeling, building up at the end with a big cinematic moment accented by powerful horns. Really great. Grotto, featuring Magnus Bormark, is a really cool track. I believe it was an early single from the record. Really cool keys and powerful drums make this a more rocking track compared to some of the more minimal aspects of the past tracks, but still with some cinematic backing and strings. Really great operatic style in the vocals at sections with strings, and then we get some big wails in his vocals before the beat drops in. Some really cool sections, great layered vocals, and it's a really great track that I really enjoy. Splitting the Soul, featuring Isan, features some skidding electronic style beats. There's introduction of some choir that comes in softly before the music gets super intense, even with some intense growling on this track. The choirs and strings really add some impressive layers, making this a really monstrous track in the track listing. Over the Top begins with some sad piano and somber vocals in a very reflective track. Beautiful and earned when the drums and strings power into the track, bringing that emotional climax moment. Soaring to impressive heights, providing some of the best moments of the album and some of Einar's best and most impassioned vocal work. Just a really impressive, wonderful thing. And then this leads to the little mini epic at the end, The Glass is Empty, featuring Toti Gunnarsson. Really some great moments here. All the stuff that you've come to love from this record is all brought to bear here with some really sad keyboards, skittering drums, a beautiful classical piano that is really beautifully rendered, a light choir adding a grandiose feel. We add strings to that and we start to get something really magical that adds layers. There's a lot of dynamics as things swell, and we get that added orchestration, violin, classical feel, and a lot of emotional payoffs as things just get bigger and more cinematic as it ends in an epic scope. So it's a really beautiful piece that showcases all these layers of sounds that they're doing. These strings, the cello, the horns, the choir, the electronica elements, all coming to a head, all captained by this really expressive vocalist who's able to do these over-the-top soaring runs and able to really express all that he has to offer on his emotional vocals, and it's really an impressive listen through. So if you're looking for something that's a bit more melancholy and sad, but has these really interesting layers of sound and really emotional moments, and is a bit more fresh and modern, has electronica elements, but a classical feel at times. I think this is a really entertaining, interesting record that you could really vibe with and really feel at home with. So I would recommend it. I think it's fantastic. Not the typical symphonic neo-prog stuff that I tend to gravitate towards, but just beautifully rendered and some great emotional work and some beautiful soundscapes and playing all across it. There's a lot of guest players on this that just add so much of a character to the record, but all helmed by Einar Solberg and his fascinating compositions, his lyrics, his vocals, and some of his keyboard works as well. Just adds so much and make this a true solo record that really gives you the full weight and the full feeling of him as a solo artist and everything that he has to display. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope this is one you'll go check out. It's really cool. It comes out on Inside Out Records tomorrow. I really think it's worth your time, and I've been enjoying it so much. So thank you guys, and I hope you just keep enjoying the music out there. Bye, everybody.
I